After some time off, the Prowlers are back for the playoff push tonight against the Binghamton Black Bears. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here alongside Joe Noonan. It's been 13 days since the last Prowlers game, but they got some much-needed rest after getting swept in Columbus just a couple of weeks ago, and now they are back for the stretch run final 20 games of the season coming up for Port Huron. They play 12 of those last 20 games here at McMorran Place, 2 more in Motor City, so a much more home-friendly schedule for the Prowlers the rest of the way.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to having some time away from the bus and away from the hotels, get to sleep in our own beds for a while, and rest up, regenerate right before playoffs.
Well, that also includes 16 games against Empire Division opponents, including tonight against the Binghamton Black Bears. So 16 of the last 20 will be against opponents from the other division. So not much the Prowlers will be able to do as far as taking away points from their rivals in the Continental Division, but they'll do their best to put up some for themselves as, again, we inch closer to the FPHL playoffs. We'll have more of the pregame show coming up in just a couple of minutes. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Port Huron, just a few minutes away from puck drop between the Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears. Will Wiggleman and Joe Noonan here to take you through it as the Black Bears are coming off of a weekend where they swept the Delaware Thunder at home, scoring 8 goals in each of those games. And their last one was an 8-6 barn burner that they ended up pulling out. Let's take a look at the FPHL standings after that game. The Black Bears sitting 5 points behind the Danbury Hat-Tricks for the top spot in the Empire Division. The Hat-Tricks defeated the Watertown Wolves 4-2 last night, so the deficit is 5 for Binghamton. The Prowlers sitting there at third in the Continental, and they have to look behind them as the Motor City Rockers are right there, just 3 points back in the Continental Division standings. Of course, the team that finishes 4th will likely have to face the Columbus River Dragons in the first round of the playoffs, and that's not exactly a matchup that either team would like to have.
Nope, but really when you look at it, the big difference for us would be between 3rd and 2nd place, because you get home ice for the 3rd decisive game if we're doing a 3-game series this year. Columbus and Carolina are both pretty formidable opponents.
Well, we have a player of the month in this game tonight. Nikita Ivashkin was January's FPHL player of the month after Dalton Jay was the FPHL's player of the month for December. So Ivashkin with 12 goals and 26 points in just 10 games in the month of January, named the FPHL's player of the month. He leads the league with 31 goals on this season, and he is definitely the force to stop for the Binghamton Black Bears tonight, although he did go pointless. The last time the Black Bears were here, that was back in November.
He's a great player. He's got a lot of speed. He lets his shot go, which is a powerful one, from pretty much anywhere on the ice, especially in stride. Not to mention, he's very difficult to knock off the puck.
And for the Binghamton Black Bears, they'll be playing tonight without Matthew Boilar, as he was suspended for 1 game. He picked up a game misconduct for abuse of officials last Saturday night against Delaware. So he will be out for tonight's game. He's eligible to return tomorrow. A couple of new faces on the Prowlers side, Tori McLean and Dylan Thackeray, going to make their their Prowlers debuts tonight. Thackeray making his professional hockey debut tonight. McLean has started this season with the Macon Mayhem in the SPHL and has 6 ECHL games under his belt this season with the Savannah Ghost Pirates, while Thackeray coming from the SVHL, a senior hockey league in Saskatchewan. Let's take a quick look at before we take a look at the lineup for the Prowlers tonight, we will take you down to ice level for the announcement of the starting lineups.
Gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Prowlers' own Sarah Dept.
Sarah Dent back on for the national anthem for the Port Huron Prowlers tonight. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineup for tonight's game for the Prowlers. Of course, you heard the Chartrand, Merritt, and J line as Matt Graham has put his lines into a bit of a blender tonight, with Larry Vartiainen, of course, away from the team as we learned earlier this week. So Matt Graham with a much different forward lineup tonight as we've seen throughout the rest of this season. Quick look at the starting goaltenders for tonight's game. Wyatt Hofflin and Riley McVeigh in goal for their respective clubs. Of course, Hofflin has started 7 of the 9 games for the Prowlers in the month of January. Well, we're just about set for puck drop as Sam Merritt loses it to Chad Lopez, one of the newer Black Bears, and we are underway. Sharktrand had it poked back towards Alex Johnson, and now here's Dalton Jay. Sharktrand with a wrist shot. Good save from McVeigh. Lopez feeds it up to Austin Thompson, drops it off to Schultz, and he just whipped it off of Hofflin's shoulder. The pass was out of Sharktrand's reach, so icing called against the Prowlers. Just 33 seconds into period 1. Well, we just mentioned it briefly. The Prowlers with their lines in a bit of a blender after a tough month of January. And how do you think these new lines are going to work out here?
Well, Grammer and Daltz and Freebs have had a pretty good season together so far. I think Graham's probably just trying to spread the love a little bit offensively throughout the lineup when you lose a guy like Larry and some of the other guys that have been down. So I wouldn't be surprised over time to see those guys link back up. They'll still be on the power play together, but you try to distribute some of that weight throughout the lineup.
We'll do the face-off again as the Black Bears got in tight opportunity off the last draw. Ivashkin just overskated it. Battle along the boards. Ivashkin sends it down low towards Thompson. Looking for Lopez, went off his skate. Foley takes it away and just gets it out. Takes a friendly hop off the boards, but does not go on goal. So another icing against the Prowlers, and the Black Bears with an opportunity to continue the pressure. We're just 58 seconds into the opening period here at McMorran Place. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Foley able to win the face-off back. Minnie gives it over to Devaney, goes off the boards and out. Tyson Kirkby turns it back the other way. Now Minnie over to Frank Schumacher, his usual defense partner. Black Bears trying to get it back in, they do. It's Josh Newberg backhanding it on net. Hofflin able to scoop it up and hang on for a whistle. 18:41 to go, first period. As both teams will change up the lines, most of the play so far in the Prowlers' end. Now we get to see our first look at Torrey McLean in a Prowlers uniform. Lined up there on the wing. He's playing with Matt Graham and Austin Federley. Graham the center on that line. Sam Gagnon is the 10th forward tonight for the Prowlers. A luxury of having a 10th forward that the Prowlers have not had all too often so far this season. It's always nice to be able to dress a full lineup.
For sure, and like we've said in previous games, to have a guy as good as Gags be the 10th forward speaks to the depth of the lineup. Somebody for last year's team probably would have been at least on the third or second line consistently.
Graham steals it behind the net, looking for McLean out in front. That pass was off target. Adam Hainsel gets it deep. He's also returning to the lineup after missing a few games with a knee injury. Last played on January 13th. Hofflin tried to steer it away from D'Angelo. Wyatt Hofflin was knocked down. Parker sent it out in front. And Alex Johnson guarding the crease, able to keep that puck away. D'Angelo dumps it in. Johnson first on it. Leaves it over for Dylan Thackeray. Number 46 tonight, making his pro hockey debut. Signed this week with the Prowlers out of Castleton University. That one deflects out of play. Thackeray out of Castleton University. And he also played 4 years in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Was playing senior hockey in the SVHL, which is up in Saskatchewan. had 5 goals, 17 assists for 22 points in 18 games, leading all IceHawks defensemen, Outlook IceHawks defensemen, in goals, assists, and points.
I think Prowlers fans will be pretty pleased with what they see out of Dylan. I was thoroughly impressed with him in practice this week. He's a thick kid. He's not the tallest, but he's built well. He's got strong edges, and he's crisp with the puck.
Black Bears off sides as Ivashkin was driving the net, but just a bit ahead of the play. We'll have a whistle with 17 minutes to go in the opening period tonight in Port Huron. So Lopez and Foley set to go for the faceoff. Chad Lopez has only played 8 games with the Black Bears so far this season, but has 10 goals. Here's Ivashkin to the net. Good save from Hofflin. The rebound pushed back out to the middle, and Freeborn rescues it and sends it out. So you have Ivashkin on the wing and Lopez at center on this line with Austin Thompson. As Lopez looks for Ivashkin, sent it out in front. Good save by Hofflin, just sliding across into the puck. Dribbles to the side of the net. Frank Schumacher on the rescue. Here's Devaney into the zone. Takes it. It's blocked by Schultz. And Minnie just couldn't keep it in at the line. Jake Schultz spent most of January in the ECHL with the Worcester Railers. 2 goals in 5 games for him. As Graham fed it out in front. Too much traffic. McLean down towards Matt Graham. Federley recovers in the far side corner. Now Federley again puts it on from a sharp angle. Puck popped out into the slot. No Prowlers home. So Newberg brings it out to center. Turned it over. McLean looking for Federley. Pass was behind him. Icing waved off. 15:45 to go. Opening period. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Black Bears. Here's Hainsel pinching in to keep the puck deep. Dustin Henning trying to do the same on the other side, and he does. Federley couldn't get his stick loose, so the Black Bears take back possession. And it's Taylor cutting behind his own net, waiting for the breakout to begin as both teams make some changes. Cutting, watched by Sam Merritt. Shots on goal early in this game, 5-2 in favor of the Binghamton Black Bears. Now here's Kyle Powell playing his first game against the Prowlers this season. He's been battered with injuries all year long, has Kyle Powell, one of the best defensemen for this Black Bears group. As Jay dumps it in, McVeigh leaves it there for Cutting. Comes out to center where Johnson goes D-to-D to Thackeray. Sends Jay in. Jay's outside shot eaten up by McVeigh. And he'll hang on for a whistle. 14:43 to go, opening period. And we will take a timeout from Port Huron. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Port Huron, in case you missed our pregame show, the Prowlers with a couple of new faces in the lineup tonight. Torrey McLean, the 29-year-old from Niagara Falls, Ontario, is playing his first game in a Prowlers uniform tonight. Has split most of his career between this year and last year in the SPHL and the FPHL. Was most recently with the Macon Mayhem, and then Dylan Thackeray, of course, the Saskatchewan native, on defense tonight, making his pro hockey debut. McLean wearing number 28 for the Prowlers tonight. Thackeray in number 46. Having a discussion with the officials in the scorer's booth. McLean has 16 games played with the Macon Mayhem so far this season in the SPHL. Also played 6 games with the Savannah Ghost Pirates in the East Coast Hockey League. Last year in the FPHL, 22 games with Carolina and 7 points. Also played 23 in the SP. Here's Thackeray dropping it off for Foley. Walks in, shoots, kick save by McVeigh. Freeborn on the rebound. Johnson the one-timer. And the same right pad kicks out from McVeigh to stop that shot. Devaney looking towards the middle of the ice. It was taken away. Parker starting a rush. Brett Parker feeds the trailer. And a good save by Hofflin, stopping Gavin Yates. Thackeray up towards Devaney. It was off his stick and sent right back in by the Black Bears. 14 minutes to go, opening period. Prowlers complete a change and send out Matt Graham's line. Here's Thackeray off the boards. Gets to Graham, he tips it in. Federley and Colin Fitzgerald after it. Federley takes Fitzgerald in. Graham play it to the middle of the ice, nobody home. Thompson has Lopez going to net. Instead drops it off for Ivashkin. Nikita Ivashkin looking for the wraparound. Black Bears couldn't get it on net. Fitzgerald goes D to D to Schultz. Schultz down to Lopez. Watched by Schumacher, floated one towards the net. Blocked to the corner. Ivashkin sent it out in front, and Hofflin got a stick on it. So it comes all the way back to Black Bear ice, 13-14 to go in the first period. Hofflin plays it again, leaves it for Frank Schumacher. That outlet pass almost cut off by Schultz. McLean comes back for it, looking for Chartrand. Now it's a race for the puck, and Fitzgerald gets there first, so icing called against the Prowlers with exactly 13 minutes to go in this first period. No score yet, as the Prowlers looking to find their legs after a week of rest with no games last weekend. Shots on goal, 6-5 in favor of the Binghamton Black Bears. Lopez and Merritt set in the face-off circle. Ivashkin line up right behind Lopez. He gets the shot, and a good glove save there from Hofflin. That's a face-off play we've seen more than a few times from the Black Bears and this line in the offensive zone.
Yeah, quick shot there. Ivashkin's up there at the top of the circle. You're looking for that inside winger. It looks like it's Dalton right here trying to get through. There he goes.
He got through, but Schultz blocked his clearing attempt. Hainsel played it back up. Here's Dalton Jay with it again. His cross-ice pass hit Ivashkin. And now Chartrand on the near side boards, just flips it high and out. Schultz gloves it down. 6'3" frame of Jake Schultz. He's taken into the boards. Here's Ivashkin. Ivashkin getting to the slot, gets a shot off, and fought off by Wyatt Hofflin. Prowler was taken down by Austin Thompson on the near side boards, and his stick is still in the Prowler's skate, so the evidence is there for a tripping penalty, and the Prowlers will go to their first power play of the night. An easy call there for the referee, as the Prowlers' fourth-ranked power play in the FPHL at 20.1% goes up against the third-ranked penalty kill at an even 84% for the Binghamton Black Bears this season. Bit of a new look on the power play for the Prowlers. Evan Foley, Sam Merritt, and Liam Freeborn up front, with Alex Johnson and now Joe Devaney, who has the puck on defense. So a different look for the Prowlers power play. We'll see what the other unit looks like when it comes out, as Freeborn turned it on net and McVeigh made the save. Of course, Larry Vartiainen, a power play staple. So they had to replace him. We'll see who he gets replaced with. As Devaney's shot blocked at the line by Powell. Kyle Powell chasing after Joe Devaney. He's able to work it up to Johnson. Foley dumps it in. Powell gets there first. Foley again tried to rim it back towards Devaney. He wasn't there, so that's as good as a Black Bears clear, and the Prowlers begin to switch up the man advantage unit. It's going to be Graham, Jay, and McLean, with Federley and Schumacher, the second power play unit for the Port Huron Prowlers. Fitzgerald rims it all the way down, as we have 55 seconds left to go on the power play. 11:16 now left to go in period number 1. Federley gives it over to Jay, into the zone with speed. Dalton Jay around the net. Prowlers set up as Jay stops in the far side corner. Comes all the way through to Schumacher. His shot deflected, and McVeigh able to make the save. Schumacher gets down to keep the puck in. Gives it to Graham on the half wall. Graham all the way across looking for Jay. That pass didn't connect. And now Schultz had stolen away by Graham. He gives it right away to Brett Parker, who turns around, fires it, and gets a friendly hop off the stanchion. Puck comes out to center. Final 10 seconds ticking off the Prowlers power play. Ivashkin and Graham got tangled up at the Black Bears blue line. Comes over to Graham, gives to McLean, he shoots. That one just went wide. I think it was affected by a Black Bear stick. Now Thompson all the way behind the defense, but he's offsides on the pass. Boy, that was almost dangerous for the Prowlers as Austin Thompson came out of the penalty box and he had a breakaway, but just a bit too eager on the blue line there.
I think he just got a little bit too excited.
We saw Joe Devaney score that way the last time the Prowlers played here. Can you believe the last time the Prowlers were here at home was on January 21st? It's been a while for these McMorran Place fans, but they'll see their Prowlers a lot more often through the rest of this season. 12 of the last 20 games for the Prowlers are here at home. Devaney takes it away. Now Foley. Working down deep, put it out in front, chopped at. Now Devaney had it hop over his stick. He just tried to whack at that bouncing puck. Now Freeborn with a quick shot, shouldered away by McVeigh. Freeborn again looking for Devaney, poked away from him. Well, Evan Foley and Justin Coachman are having a battle in front of the net. Here's Ivashkin, poked off his stick neatly by Dustin Henning. Freeborn the other way, gives to Hainsel jumping into the play. Comes down towards Kyle Powell. 9.5 minutes to go in this first period. Shots on goal tied at 8. Thackeray kept it away from Thompson. Brought back in by Ivashkin. Couldn't dangle his way towards the net. Here's Thackeray. Dylan Thackeray around the net. Looking up towards Chartrand. He gives it to Sam Merritt. Merritt into the zone, takes the shot. Goes wide, and he took a big hit from Taylor Cutting.
A little old school hip check there.
McVeigh covers up that shot off the backboards. He'll hang on for a whistle with 8:58 to go in the opening period. No score yet between the Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears here at McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
8:58 to go, first period, no score yet between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears. Will Wiggleman, Joe Noonan here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Neither team really able to get anything past these two goaltenders, both goalies making some sharp saves.
Yep, they've been out top the crease, being pretty aggressive. Rebounds haven't been too bad either.
Offensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers. They have the Merritt line out there. And if you missed the pregame show, the lines are a little bit different for the Prowlers tonight. This time it's Sam Merritt centering Dalton Jay and Dan Chartrand. And on the other side, Gavin Yates will face Merritt in the circle, and Yates gets the better of him. Here's Cutting, giving it back to Powell. Powell rims it around. There's Johnson back at center. Gave it away to Yates. Looking for Parker. That puck just out of his reach. Thackeray looking for Merritt. Comes down low towards Parker. Tried to feed in front. Thackeray right on it. Now Merritt chasing that puck down. He gets it into the Black Bears zone. Shot it just wide. Schumacher just keeps it in. Whips it on net. Waffle boarded aside by McVeigh. Minnie keeps it in. Merritt sent it in front, deflected on by Jay, and McVeigh with another blocker save. Jay has it again. Into the zone, Dalton Jay tried to feed it towards Merritt in front. They couldn't connect, and Brett Parker back out to center. He dumps it in with under 8 minutes to go in the first period. Minnie sends it deep as the Prowlers finish a change. Fitzgerald turning away from McLean. Now Graham steals it in front. Federley scores! Right down the slot, Austin Federley sends that puck in, and the Prowlers have a 1-0 lead. And all that coming from a great forecheck from Torrey McLean and Matt Graham to cause the turnover. And then Austin Federley, you see guys get lost off the bench when they come from the change, and that's exactly what happened to Austin Federley there.
Yeah, it was, and McLean did a good job. He didn't actually knock the puck away from Fitzgerald back there, but he pressured him enough to make him uncomfortable. Graham picked his pocket, and Fetz from in tight got it up and over the goalie's shoulder. The way goalies are taught to play, the puck's behind the net now, down on their knees in the reverse VH, sometimes with a smaller guy like McVeigh, up and over the shoulder will be open because you're too deep down on the goal line.
Well, Austin Federley has his 8th goal of the season. As Mac Lewis looking for the response, couldn't get it. And here comes Graham looking for McLean. Now Torrey McLean on a rush by himself, couldn't get it on net. Mac Lewis taken in by Freeborn. And it's worked over to Schultz. Jake Schultz just dumps it to Prowler territory. Hainsel with lots of time with the Black Bears changing. Takes it behind his own net. McLean flips it out. That hit the linesman. Comes right back towards the linesman. He's just trying to get out of the way. And McLean sends it in. Coachman worked it up to Thompson. Lopez couldn't come in cleanly. Johnson and 2 Black Bears into the corner. Ivashkin takes the puck. Ivashkin has it again. Tried to feed the point. That split Walters and Coachman. So JT Walters back in his own zone. 6:15 to go in period number 1. Prowlers with a 1-0 lead on Austin Federley's 8th of the year. Thackeray back into the zone. 3-on-2 for the Prowlers. Freeborn couldn't handle that bouncing puck. So Walters looks to start a counterattack. Gives it to Lopez. He left the puck behind, or else that play would have been offsides, as Thompson was too early into the zone. It's a delayed offsides right now against the Black Bears. As Powell works it back up to Ivashkin. Everybody touched up now. Freeborn into the zone, tried to feed Merritt. A couple of Black Bears surrounding him. Jay took a hit, kept going. Dalton Jay still with the puck. Up high to Minnie, wrists it on. That hit Merritt on the way through. Now Schumacher put a drive. That was stopped by McVeigh, and he got the rebound too from the corner. Prowlers pouring on the shots in the recent minutes, as Cutting finally ends that run of Prowlers' chances with a shot on goal of his own. Ivashkin couldn't power his way to the front of the net. Nikita Ivashkin so strong below the goal line, sent it out in front. Hoffman just got a piece of it. Now Powell wrists it just wide through traffic. Cutting back on, save, rebound, Parker, and I think Hoffman got a piece of that one too. All the way back around to the far side. Minnie just pokes it away from Cutting. That won't go for an icing, so the Prowlers able to make a full change with 4:35 to go in the first period. Taylor Cutting rims it around. Schumacher up towards Graham. Black Bears had too many men on the ice for just a moment, and if Taylor Cutting had touched that puck, that would have been a penalty. Here's Yates, leaving it for Schultz. Right back up to Gavin Yates, challenged by Henning. Yates around the net. Yates shoved off by Henning, and Dustin Henning is going to get a holding penalty.
That is a brutal call. try not to be too hard on the refs because they're just human too, but Henner only had one hand on his stick, and that was the hand that was touching the guy. Can't hold your stick in the guy's body at the same time. He got all the way around him and bench pressed him into the boards.
So the top-ranked power play in the FPHL will get its first opportunity of the game when we return. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net, save, rebound, score!
Every goal.
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
Every save.
Going the other way, Papandrea, saved by Hoffman, the rebound, another one!
Every hit.
Good hip check!
Every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left, oh boy!
game.
Cardinal, poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
Will Wiggleman and Joe Noonan back here at McMorran Place, and a tough call there for the Prowlers, Dustin Henning for holding.
Yeah, we were just saying it right before we went to commercial. It's I hate to see a holding call when the only hand that's touching the player you're checking is the hand that's holding your stick. And you look at him coming up the boards, and Henning actually got all the way around Yates, not to mention he's probably about 60, 70 pounds heavier than he is. I don't see anatomically how he was able to hold him with just the top hand of his on his stick.
Well, Austin Federley and Matt Graham are the forwards out there for the Prowlers on this PK. Alex Johnson and Gino Mini, the defensemen. For the Black Bears, it's Kirkby, Yates, Ivashkin, Thompson, and Lopez. So 5 forwards for the Binghamton Black Bears, although Tyson Kirkby has been known to play forward or defense. The top-ranked power play in the FPHL is Thompson's shot held onto by Hoffman. 26.4% for the Binghamton Black Bears. Again, best in the FPHL right now. Prowlers PK is 9th at 78.6%. So they switch up the forwards. It's Evan Foley and Dan Chartrand. Chartrand has 2 shorthanded goals on the season, both of them in the month of January. That's tied for second in the FPHL. And one of them against these Black Bears in the second game of that series in Binghamton. That was the game-winning goal for the Prowlers in that third period. Ivashkin back in. Put it out in front, and they score! Austin Thompson right down the slot, able to beat Hoffman from in tight, and we are tied up at 1.
Not a dissimilar goal to the first goal for the Prowlers tonight. Play behind the net. This one wasn't a turnover off the forecheck, but you get Hoffman down on his knees on the goal line, expecting the wraparound, which I can tell you from experience Ivashkin is a fan of, but he made a nice play there, twirling the puck around on his forehand, behind the back no-look pass, get Hoffman sliding to the wrong side of the net. It's a pretty easy tapping goal.
Austin Thompson gets his 16th goal of the season, 6th on the power play. He now has points in 7 of his last 8 games. Let's work back to Coachman. Josh Newberg up towards Kirkby. Poked away by Henning. And Evan Foley able to dump it in. Got past Hansel at the point. Hoffman leaves it for Henning. So officially it's Thompson from Ivashkin and Kirkby. Power play goal for the Black Bears. As Devaney has his long-range shot gloved and held by McVeigh, and that will lead to a Prowlers offensive zone face-off with 2:46 to go in the first period.
See Henning jump up into the rush there. That's what you want to see out of a guy that, whether he thought it was the right or the wrong call, gets a rest in the box.
Schumacher wrists it on off of McVeigh's glove and wide. Jay back on it, sent it out in front, comes all the way to Schumacher, and Mini had it slip through his stick. Gino Mini Cross corner dump. Fitzgerald gloves it down there. There's Gino D'Angelo. Off the boards and ahead. D'Angelo gets it back. Saved by Hoffman. He backs it out of the air to keep it from hopping over him. Jay back the other way. Couldn't corral that pass. Now Yates. Yates trying to dangle around Chartrand in the corner. He does. Here comes Gavin Yates. Couldn't get around Minnie with the puck. Now Merritt up to Jay. Looking for Chartrand. He's got him. Chartrand surrounded by Black Bears at center. Merritt sends it off of the boards and in. Schultz back the other way. Prowlers with 3 fresh forwards as Hoffman hangs on to that shot from outside of the zone for a whistle. Minute 39 to go in the first period. We are tied at 1 here at McMorran Place. Shots on goal 14-12 in favor of the Binghamton Black Bears. You see Ivashkin lined up right behind Chad Lopez for this faceoff. It's going to be Austin Federley taking the draw. Ivashkin gets it back to the point. Shot deflected high. Thompson, the Black Bears goal scorer, is in there looking for the puck. Instead comes out to McLean, and Graham able to send it in. Matt Graham below the goal line. Couldn't get that one to the point. Now McLean trying to turn it on net. That one didn't work. Thackeray dumps it right back in. Minute 10 to go, opening period, as Federley sends it back up high to Johnson. All the way around. Comes to the far side where Thompson gathers it in and sends it out. Thackeray again to Johnson as we hit the final minute of play in this first period. McLean over to Thackeray. Dylan Thackeray into the zone, all the way across looking for McLean. And the 2 newest Prowlers just couldn't hook up on that pass.
Some pretty good vision there from Thackeray.
Powell with 36 on the clock. This pass missed its intended target. Henning gets it to Foley, who deflects it out. Cutting, looking to take it himself. He dumps it in. Henning first on it with 23 to go in the period. Comes around towards Freeborn. Up to Henning. Gets it to Foley, who touches it on for Dustin Henning. Here's Henning with a shot. That one went wide off of a Black Bear stick. Henning again with 8. Ended up turning it over to Lopez behind the net. Looking for the home run pass to Ivashkin. That one didn't work, and Ivashkin is going to run out of time. And that will do it for the first period of play here at McMorran Place, with the Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears tied up at 1 goal apiece. Shots on goal in that opening period, 14 for the Prowlers and 12 for the Binghamton Black Bears. Your goal scorers are Austin Federley for Port Huron and Austin Thompson for Binghamton. And both teams head to the locker rooms, knotted up at 1 goal apiece. Nunes, what did you think of that period?
I thought it was a pretty exciting period to watch. There was a lot of offense on both ends of the ice. I thought both goalies played pretty well. And I would expect the second period and probably the beginning of the third period to be a little bit more jammed up through the neutral zones as both teams figure out their systems, especially the Prowlers having been out of a game for so long.
So we'll take a timeout, but first, Valentine's Day is coming fast. Get your special someone a gift from the Prowlers team store. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena, the store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, including the new black and gold sweatshirt style, socks, and more. Authentic and youth jerseys also available while supplies last. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. First intermission underway here from McMorran Place. We will take a break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. back here in Port Huron, 1-1 our score, as we are in the first intermission between the Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears. Well, Prowlers went 5-4-0 in the month of January. Certainly not their best month by any stretch of the imagination, but there were some highlights. We'll give you the top 10 plays of the month of January, and be sure to watch out for that Chartrand guy whenever the Prowlers are on the PK. Daniel, quick shot, save, rebound, Devaney, scores! Joe Devaney found the rebound and puts it home. The Prowlers are back in front. Graham drops it off to Merritt, he shoots, he scores! Power play goal, Sam Merritt, and that one may be the dagger. Here's Chartrand, has Devaney behind the defense. Joe Devaney on a breakaway, he scores! Out of the box and on the board, Joe Devaney has tied this at 1. Short-handed goals this season. He has 2. Here come the Prowlers back in. Merritt splits the D, he scores! Sam Merritt gets the Prowlers on the board first. It's a power play goal. Line and Foley, the men in the face-off circle. And Chartrand able to poke it out. Chartrand steps around Frageau. He has a step. Here's Dan Chartrand to the backhand. He scores! What a play by Dan Chartrand, and that quiets the crowd here in Columbus and pulls the Prowlers within 2. Chartrand back on net. That was cut off. Angel steps in, put it on. Now Federley to the backhand, he scores! Beautiful toe drag to the backhand. Austin Federley knocks it up at 2. Boy, if he got in Trevor Babin's head earlier, he can really get in his head if he scores here. And Chartrand with the game on his stick. Chartrand works in, shoots, he scores! Prowlers win it in the shootout. Well, or maybe not. I thought this was a 3-round shootout.
Doesn't escape the zone as it finds Gavin Yates on the first chance. But now Chartrand coming back in alone once again. He scores! Another short-handed goal given up by the Black Bears. And it's 6-5.
The offensive team from getting too many scoring opportunities in there. For the
Chopped
most
in, they
part.
score! Evan Foley bats that puck in, and the Prowlers are on the board with 14:39 to go in the second. Prowlers lead, and Tommy Cardinal has to score to continue it in round 5. Cardinal in on Hofflin. Cardinal poked away by Hofflin, and the Prowlers win it! Boy, that Motor City shootout game was a lot of fun here at McMorran Place. And unfortunately, the rules were not properly followed in that shootout, as that was supposed to be a 3-round shootout. Since it was tied after 3, Chartrand's goal should have been the game winner, as I said on the broadcast. But they let Tommy Cardinal shoot, and Wyatt Hofflin said, no big deal, I'll just make the save. But I'm not bitter about it, it's okay. 1-1 our score between the Black Bears and the Prowlers. Just about 4.5 minutes until the second period is underway here from McMorran Place. Will Wiggleman, Joe Noonan with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. And Noon's a good back and forth period. Both teams had their opportunities, had their pressures, and both teams getting on the scoreboard.
A lot of time in both offensive zones. Seemed like each team was pretty content to set up defensively and try to get into a bit of a defensive coverage system rather than attacking too hard at the defensive blue lines, having high gaps. I think that's something we'll see some adjustments made going into the second period.
Well, let's take a quick look around the FPHL, as this is not the only game tonight. All 10 teams in action. And we start in Watertown with the Danbury Hat-Tricks lead the Watertown Wolves 1-0 midway through the first period. Danbury with a 4-2 win last night in Watertown. Columbus River Dragons have a 1-0 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds in Winston-Salem. That one at the midway point of period number 1. They are just about to get underway in a few minutes in Mississippi as the Seawolves host the Motor City Rockers. That's one that Prowlers fans would like to keep an eye on, as the Rockers sit 3 points behind the Prowlers in the standings in the FPHL's Continental Division. And one more game tonight going on in Delaware, as the Thunder and the Elmira Mammoth are tied up at 0 midway through the first period. Well, Austin Federley got the Prowlers going with just under 8 minutes to go in that opening period. And we mentioned it before the game, a much different forward look for Matt Graham's club, as he just threw the lines in a blender, and it seemed to work on that one, as the forechecking from Torrey McLean and Matt Graham set up Federley for that easy tap-in.
Yeah, even with a lot of new guys this year, we still have the guys that have been here who have played together for a long, long time. And even though Graham and Fetz haven't been on a line together maybe at all this season that I can remember, they've been playing together for 5 or 6 years, if not longer. So the chemistry is there whether or not you play with a guy week in, week out.
Well, a couple of minutes later, though, the Black Bears able to tie things up on a penalty that Unions did not like, but it was a penalty nonetheless. 2 minutes for holding on Dustin Henning, and Austin Thompson able to get an in-tight opportunity after Nikita Ivashkin went behind the net. He's so strong behind the net, and you always have to pay attention to him if he's going to come out in front, and that really leaves guys like Thompson open coming down the slot.
Yeah, he just seems to draw players to him, whether it's because of his speed or because of his strength, that it might take more than just one guy to bring him down. He's very strong on the puck because of his edges, and drawing a player back behind the net with him like that, getting Hofflin to slide over to the other side, and then having the skill to tuck it back on the post that he came from right out front. That's why he's been one of the leading point getters in the last 2 years.
So Nikita Ivashkin sets up Austin Thompson. Tyson Kirkby also gets an assist on that goal, and that's where we stand 1-1 as we get set for the start of period number 2. Shots on goal in that opening period, 14 for the Binghamton Black Bears and 12 for the Port Huron Prowlers. With both teams taking the ice, Nudes, what's the big thing you want to see the Prowlers improve upon in this period?
I'd like to see them get a few better regroups when the puck comes out to the neutral zone, reset and attack with speed before the Black Bears can get off the ice and get a change.
Well, looks like the same lines will start the second period. As the same lines start the second period as started the opening frame. As the Prowlers with a 4-1-2 record when tied after one period of play this season. They'll look to continue that success with Merritt and Lopez in the face-off circle. And now we are underway. Jay couldn't catch up to that puck as he knocked it down from Schultz. Backhanded out to center. Johnson down to a knee to block it. He sends it back into Binghamton territory. Here's Colin Fitzgerald. Up to Schultz, the Black Bears captain. Jake Schultz sends it all the way around. Ivashkin curling away from pressure. Lopez in there battling with Thackeray for the puck. Dylan Thackeray able to get it up to Sam Merritt. Jay tried to tip it into the zone. Instead, he deflects it out of play, and that's a souvenir for a fan sitting down there on the glass. 19:23 to go, second period. Well, the faceoff back at center. Frank Schumacher rims it all the way around. Schultz deflects it past Devaney. Thompson bats it out of the air to center. And then Freeborn just couldn't keep it in, so the Prowlers offsides. Dude, you were saying between periods that first period was a fast one, but already a couple of whistles, and we're just 47 seconds into the second.
Yeah, I would say that you're going to see the second period slow down just a little bit, a little more neutral zone play, maybe a little bit less time in the offensive zone.
Powell sends that one behind Hofflin. Kirkby in there on the forecheck, but Foley able to steal it away. Cutting keeps it in at the line momentarily. As good pressure there from Joe Devaney, able to force it out. Newberg up the boards all the way down, and Schumacher will get there for the icing call. A minute and 13 seconds into period number 2. And the Prowlers get an offensive zone face-off. They have Evan Foley out there with his usual line mate Joe Devaney, so that's one thing that wasn't changed when Matt Graham threw the lines in the blenders. But Liam Freeborn is their new winger now, instead of Larry Vartiainen, who, as we've mentioned, no longer with the team right now. Freeborn around the net, in front, looking for Schumacher. And McVeigh able to slide out. Not sure if that ended up getting to him or if it was blocked by a Black Bear stick. Cutting just wrists it in from center, but he almost cleared the netting behind the glass. Minute and a half into period 2, and they'll bring the faceoff back out to centers. Liam Freeborn saw Frank Schumacher sneaking down the slot, but elected to go around the net, and I think that gave the Black Bears just an extra second to get to that puck. Federley wins the faceoff. We've seen him taking some more draws, even though Matt Graham is a usual center is on this line. That's something we've seen Graham do occasionally over the course of the season, give up faceoffs to one of his wingers. Henning with a nice hit down low. Yates comes out up high. Blockered away by Hofflin. Yates behind the net, tried to feed it in front, blocked by Henning. Yates again, couldn't dangle around Hainsel. Still has the puck though. Gavin Yates drops it off. Black Bears able to keep it in. Hainsel and Yates going after it. Hainsel with a nice hit. Yates still dinging at that puck. He has it. It's been the Gavin Yates show in the offensive zone for the Black Bears, but they don't get anything on net as a result, so the Prowlers able to change things up. Thackeray gave it away to Yates. Yates around the net, lost the handle for a second. That gives Sam Merritt time to defend him. Ivashkin tried to step in. Johnson batted it back to center. We approach 3 minutes into period number 2 as it's rimmed around towards Austin Thompson. Thackeray steps around one man, tried to send Jay on his way. Prowlers would have had a 2-on-0 if that pass got through. Instead, here's Jay with an outside shot, stopped by McVeigh. The rebound all the way out to center. Lopez into the zone. That's Thompson, excuse me. And Lopez towards Ivashkin. Puck was bouncing, and Ivashkin cycles it towards Lopez. Now Dalton Jay out. Chartrand, Prowlers have numbers. Couldn't put it on net. That was blocked on the way through. Chartrand feeds it out. It's a race for the puck as Hofflin comes all the way out to play. He gives it to Schumacher. Deflected in by the Prowlers. 16:15 to go in this second period. Chartrand with a steal behind the net. Couldn't wrap it around in front. Lopez up towards Thompson, gets through him. Schumacher tracks it down. Not too much possession for either side over the last minute or two, but both teams looking for their opportunities. Here's Freeborn to Foley. His shot, he scores! Little give and go between Evan Foley and Liam Freeborn, and the Prowlers are back in front.
Well, it's a good shot by Foley right there. He had a real good morning skate today. Snuck a couple past me, so I'm not surprised he's able to do it in the game.
Well, it was a great give and go there between Foley and Freeborn. Of course, new line mates, not guys that we've seen together too often this season. And for Evan Foley, his 15th goal of the season as he snaps a 3-game point drought. Puts the Prowlers back in front, 15:50 to go in this second period. Federley off the board, glass and out. Looks like that hit someone on the bench, so they'll bring the faceoff back into Prowlers ice. So it's Foley from Freeborn and Devaney. The goal that gives the Prowlers a 2-1 lead. Newberg and Federley are in there for the faceoff. Newberg's, though, been kicked out, so Tyson Kirkby slides in to take the draw. One back to Cutting. Wristed on, saved by Hofflin. The rebound comes right to Matt Graham. Cutting has it again, quickly over to Powell. Now Frank Schumacher. Up to Graham, he deflects it on towards Federley. Federley sends it down deep. McLean on it. Here's Torrey McLean. Graham in there, battling 3 Black Bears, looking for that puck as well. So they dig for it along the near side boards. Powell and Newberg in there for Binghamton. Kirkby gets his stick in. Comes out, Graham put it out in front. And Schumacher had his stick tied up by Cutting. Powell skates into it at center, 3 Prowlers back. Kyle Powell pulls up, plays it off the back boards. And it looks like Matt Graham is getting a penalty. A slashing call coming against the Prowlers head coach. And it looks like the Port Huron will go to the PK for the second time tonight. Oh, excuse me, it's Torrey McLean who is going to receive the slashing penalty for the Prowlers. We'll take a timeout, 14:44 to go in the second period. Prowlers up by 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Prowlers to the PK with 14:44 to go in the second period. It's Torrey McLean for slashing. I thought they were going to get Matt Graham as he was riding a Black Bear into the corner. That Black Bear dropped his stick, but instead it is Torrey McLean sitting in the penalty box for the Port Huron Prowlers. Oh no, now it's Matt Graham, so they did switch things up during that TV timeout, so we were correct that Matt Graham is the one with the penalty. So 2 minutes for slashing against the Prowlers head coach, and the Black Bears power play goes back to work. Lopez on the broken play, able to get a shot on that. Hofflin stops. Power play 1 for 1 for Binghamton so far tonight. As Lopez works it down low, Thompson chases the puck down back up high. Ivashkin swoops in to take it. Nikita Ivashkin behind the net. Came out in front, sharp angle try, stopped by Hofflin, and he'll cover up the rebound for a whistle 28 seconds into this power play. Prowlers switching things up. It's Austin Federley and Dalton Jay, the forwards. Federley will slide in with Chad Lopez for the faceoff. Lopez wins it back. Work to the point to Yates. Yates had his stick lifted. Kirkby tried to give it back to Yates. They got their signals crossed, so Kirkby has to take it back at center. Here's Ivashin, cuts to the forehand, and he ripped it just wide. Kirkby goes down. Yates digs the puck out. Yates tried to put it on net. He forgot to shoot the puck, though, just made the shooting motion. The pass back to Lopez out of his reach. Kirkby recovers at the point. Lopez walks in, gives it down low. Thompson between his own legs, and Hofflin able to get a pad on it. It's the only play Thompson had, as Hofflin covers up that one with the blocker. That was the only play Austin Thompson had to go between his legs, and he did, and Hofflin just big enough to get the pad on it.
Yeah, it almost looked to me like he was even trying to get it over to Ivashkin on the back door, but the way that Hofflin was set up, his butterfly was taking up the passing lane as much, if not more, than the bottom part of the net.
48 seconds to go in the Binghamton power play. 13:30 to go in period number 2. As Newberg works it to the point to Schultz. Jake Schultz walks down the wall, gives to Mac Lewis behind the net. Now up to Parker on the near side. Colin Fitzgerald over to Schultz, back up high to Fitzgerald. Wrist shot hit his own man Newberg on the way through, and Evan Foley a diving play to get it all the way down. 20 seconds to go in the Binghamton power play. As Fitzgerald works it up ice, gives it over to Parker. Brett Parker on net. Johnson was actually the one that blocked it. Schultz over to Fitzgerald, back to Schultz, the one-timer, stopped by Hofflin. The rebound, they score! Just as the power play expired, it was tucked in by Mac Lewis, and we are tied up at 2.
That's a tough spot for the goalie to get stuck in right there, just outside of the post, just in front of the net. And you end up in no man's land with the puck getting behind you. Do you turn around? Do you sprawl out? Because the only play there for the forward is to bounce it off the back of your equipment, whether it's up high or off the skate, like just happened there to Hofflin. A little bit of a helpless feeling, kind of stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
So Mac Lewis gets his 6th goal of the season, the SUNY Oswego product. With a power play goal as the Black Bears almost iced the puck, but D'Angelo looks like he beat out Hainsel in the race, so icing waved off as it's sent to the point. Now taken in the corner by Matthew Sproul, a late signing by Binghamton. Matthew Sproul, a guy with no elite prospects page, so I really could not tell you anything about him. Kenyon sends it deep, goes after it himself. Coachman bodies him off. Now a two-side scrum in the near side corner. Coachman puts it right back there. Puts a hit on Gagnon as well. Now Gagnon in on the puck. Gives it to Jay. Jay in front. Good shot there from Graham. Stopped by McVeigh. Matt Graham to the point to Schumacher. Wrist shot. Stopped by McVeigh, and he clears the rebound to the near side. Schumacher puts it back on, steered away. Now Sproul just off the boards and out. And a late offsides call there from the referee. Didn't think they were going to make the call until the Binghamton players just complained. The Binghamton players called it offsides before the linesman.
Well, I don't know, Will. Who's reffing this game, the refs or Binghamton?
Well, I guess the referees do wear white and black, and the Binghamton Black Bears are also wearing white and black, so it does make sense. Of course, the linesmen do a great job here. Just joking around, of course.
Confused, though, as to why this came over to the Prowlers territory.
And Alex Johnson is having that exact conversation. I'm not sure either why that faceoff comes back towards the Prowlers' end. But Jonathan Satarski giving the explanation to Alex Johnson, and that's where they'll leave it. Here's Graham. Couldn't get it forward. Thackeray almost overskated the puck. He gets it back to Johnson. 11:09 to go, second period. A 2-2 game between the Black Bears and the Prowlers. Graham tried to set it in front, only found Powell. Yates on his way into the zone, played it off the far sideboards. Ivashkin looking for cutting all the way on the other side. That hit a Prowler. Now McLean up to Johnson, has plenty of skating room, and he'll take it. Alex Johnson back to Graham. He shoots and a save by McVeigh. Now Federley couldn't get control of that puck. Cutting gets it out. Here's Thompson over towards Yates. The pass was behind him. He had plenty of space to take the shot if that puck was on his tape. Ivashkin out in front, knocked down, and a penalty coming against the Port Huron Prowlers. Hooking is the signal against Alex Johnson in the Black Bears power play, which is, I would say, 2 for 2. They did score right at the end of the last power play, but officially they are 2 for 2 tonight. They'll go back to work.
I guess the handshake that Johnny gave the referee after that animated discussion about the face-off in the neutral zone didn't buy him any good favor.
The Black Bears, top-ranked power play in the FPHL, 2 for 2 already tonight. They'll get another chance as Fitzgerald gives it over to Schultz. Back up high to Fitzgerald. Now Parker. Fitzgerald again over to Schultz, the one-timer. Didn't get all of it. Lewis in the corner has the most recent Black Bears goal. Soston towards Fitzgerald. Parker down low looking for Fitzgerald. Comes back up high to Parker. Challenged by Foley. Fitzgerald again. Now Parker. Fitzgerald as they play catch. Cross to Schultz. Wrist shot. That sticks to Hoplin. And he'll hang on for a whistle. 9:38 to go in period number 2. And a minute 22 up on the penalty clock for Alex Johnson. We will take a timeout from McMorran Place with the Prowlers and the Black Bears knotted up at 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Port Huron, the Black Bears still with a power play for the next minute and 22 seconds. 9:38 to go in the second period. They keep that same unit out there of Lewis, Newberg, Parker, Fitzgerald, and Schultz. Minnie works it around to Schumacher. He's able to backhand it all the way down the ice. Sam Merritt giving chase. Dalton Jay, the fourth Prowler, on this penalty kill right now. Fitzgerald had it taken off his stick by Jay. Fitzgerald gets it back over to Parker. Hops away from him. There's Brett Parker working up top. Feeds it down to Fitzgerald. That went off of his skate, and Gino Mini clears it all the way down. 9 minutes to go, second period. 43 seconds left on the penalty to Alex Johnson. Merritt in there harassing Kirkby. Tyson Kirkby able to get through center into the Prowler zone. Kirkby stops up. Black Bears set up. Sent on net. And Minnie went to get it with the glove. Ended up running into Hoffman. Luckily for the Prowlers, they're able to clear it all the way down. But that was almost a tough moment for Port Huron.
Awkward play. Not a whole lot of chemistry on a play like that. You don't see it that often.
Voshkin with a quick shot, sticks to Hoffman, and he'll hang on for whistle. 10 seconds left, and the penalty to Johnson. 8:26 left to go in the second period. But you think on a play like that, you just want to let Hoffman glove it instead of Gino Mini, right?
Yeah, you might if he's going to be able to get to it. I don't know if Gino knew that Hoff was going to be able to. If you're Hoff, you might want to just hold back and let it come to you.
Comes back to the point to Powell. Down low, Chad Lopez. Up high, Powell again. One-time shot was blocked, or deflected, on the way through. They give it to Johnson out of the penalty box. Tried to give back to Foley. Puck was in his skates. 8:06 to go in the second period. Good hit there from Foley on Taylor Cutting. Black Bears out the other way. Here's Lopez. Lopez out high. Powell wristed it on. That net was way off its moorings when that shot came in. Either way, he missed it high and wide. But the whistles blow and they'll reset the net. $7:50 to go, second period. Prowlers send out a bit of a different line here as Evan Foley just getting off the ice after the penalty kill. So Austin Federley will center Joe Devaney and Liam Freeborn. Sure, this is just a temporary single shift thing with Evan Foley being at the end of that penalty kill. Yates almost dangled himself. He's able to keep control of that puck, and Federley backhands it towards the line. It does get out. Gavin Yates on it again. I think he's had the puck more than any other player in this game.
I played with Yatesy in junior hockey for the Bay State Breakers, and he was just as shifty and quick back then as he is now.
Devaney recollects the puck down low, played it off the back of the cage. Freeborn down low to Federley. Devaney has it again. Devaney switches spots with Alex Johnson. Now he cycles it to him. Johnson to Freeborn. Now over to Federley. He takes the shot. Puck's loose in the crease there. Comes back out. Johnson shoots. It's blocked. Gino Mini put it on, and that hit Powell and right out of his equipment. And Gino D'Angelo the other way. D'Angelo with a little reverse hit there on Mini. Some Gino on Gino action. As Walters sends it up ice. Yates has Kirkby by himself. Yates takes the shot himself, and a good back check from Dalton Jay to prevent that shot from getting on net. It goes out of play, and we'll have a whistle.
Great back check there by Dalton. All it takes for him is the first 3 or 4 steps, and he can pretty much coast in after that. That's where he gets all his speed from, is his edges, getting started with his acceleration. Unfortunately, he can only do it once every couple of shifts, but I think he used it up right there to stop a goal. That was great.
Jay will stay out there with the rest of his line. Sam Merritt and Dan Chartrand for this defensive zone faceoff. Josh Newberg comes out to oppose Merritt in the faceoff circle. Worked around towards Thackeray, got through him. Merritt off the boards looking for Chartrand. It's dumped back in by Coachman. 6 minutes to go in this second period as Thackeray gives it to Jay. Now Chartrand steps in, try to feed it down low, surrounded by Black Bears. Adam Hainsel plays it back at center. JT Walters, head up, looks for a play, gives it to Mac Lewis. Lewis spinning away from an oncoming Chartrand. Lewis with a headman feed towards Kirkby, that got through him, and Hoffman will play it away from Tyson Kirkby. Henning able to get it out. Chartrand gives to Jay. Jay winds and fires, and a save by McVeigh, and he'll jump on the rebound. 5:30 to go, second period. Shots on goal right now, 24 for Binghamton, 23 for Binghamton, 20 for the Port Huron Prowlers. Austin Federley out there with his regular line again, drawing against Chad Lopez. Graham works it over to Federley. His shot patted away by McVeigh. McLean couldn't force it out in front. Double teamed. McLean has it again. 3 Black Bears on Torrey McLean, trying to wrestle that puck away from him. 6'4", 220, Torrey McLean, plenty of strength below the goal line. He has it again. McLean out high, and that shot from Hainsel stopped by McVeigh. Henning keeps it in at the near side point. Fitzgerald up towards Ivashkin. Finally gets through to Ivashkin again. He gets it up to Thompson. Back to Ivashkin. Ivashkin cut into the middle, takes the shot, hit the crossbar, and that one flies out of play. Boy, Nikita Ivashkin has had some good opportunities in this game, but still not on the board yet. 4:40 to go, second period. We are knotted up at 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net, save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay, wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way, Papandrea, saved by Hoffman, the rebound, another one!
every hit,
Good hip check!
every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left, oh boy!
game.
Cardinal, poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
.440 to go, second period of a 2-2 hockey game here at McMorran Place. Will Wiggleman, Joe Noonan with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. A scary shot there if you're a Port Huron Prowlers fan, as Nikita Ivashkin just hitting where the crossbar and post meet, right at the top corner of the net.
We've already talked about him a bunch so far this game. He comes in with a lot of power, and he always has the puck in a shooting position. You see there, he's never afraid to just pull up, even when it looks like a defenseman has him lined up with the body, because most of the time he's bigger and stronger than the guys that are covering him, and he's got the puck ready to fly off the stick, just like he did there. Just hit the elbow on the outside of the post rather than the inside.
Nikita Ivashkin, officially 6'1", 198 pounds, but plenty strong, and likely one of the stronger players in this league. Schultz winds and fires, kick save and a beauty from Wyatt Hofflin. Minnie keeps it going around the boards. Fitzgerald came in, but it got through. Schultz again. Schultz into the zone. Jake Schultz pulls up below the goal line. Puck got stuck in some skates. Let's go Prowlers chance starting as Devaney moves up ice. It's chopped off his stick by Brett Parker and out of play. 3:54 to go, second period. And it looks like the Prowlers will have an offensive zone draw here. They'll send out the Merritt line. Alex Johnson and Dylan Thackeray getting the defense assignment for this face-off. Powell off the face-off, rims it this side. Thackeray kept it in, put it on net. And that one blockered away by McVeigh. To a side scrum in the corner. Poke towards Jay. Trying to get it out in front. Black Bears collapsing. Johnson plays it deeper. Here's Alex Johnson with a good one-man show, and he draws a penalty there from Taylor Cutting. And how about that? Another holding penalty.
Yeah, that's just a product of hard work down low by Johnny. Oftentimes, especially in the offensive zone, if you're able to just keep your feet moving and fend off the defensive players for long enough, they're going to take a lazy or selfish penalty.
So Taylor Cutting, the one sitting in the box for the Binghamton Black Bears. He's now up to 76 penalty minutes in just game number 15 this season is Taylor Cutting. Of course, you don't do that with just minor penalties. So the Prowlers 0 for 1 on the power play. Set up again. Federley with a quick shot, gloved and held by McVeigh. Prowlers with this different unit out there. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, different power play looks for Port Huron. We'll go to you again. It's Federley, McLean, Jay, Graham, and Schumacher on this unit. Federley wins it back to Graham. Over to Jay on the near side boards. Up high, Federley. Across to Schumacher. Now Graham. Federley again. Sauces it on for Jay. Couldn't wrist it on net. And the Black Bears trying to clear. Thompson can't get a hang of this puck. Now he does. He sends it all the way down. Minute 25 to go on the Prowlers power play as Hoffland gives it up to Federley. Federley couldn't dangle around everybody. He has to go find the puck again. Now Jay into the zone. Jay down low looking for Merritt. And that one hit McVeigh first. Sam Merritt almost got to that rebound. Comes out from Merritt again. And McVeigh just able to cover it with a couple of Prowlers right there in the crease.
There's that infamous Zamboni door just to the blocker side of a goalie that handles his stick in the right hand. Seen that pop out, I don't know, hundreds of times so far this year. For me at least, obviously practicing every day.
It's one of the most consistent, inconsistent bounces in the league. As here's Joe Devaney switching spots with Johnson. He drops it off. Foley gives it back to Johnson. Up high, Devaney. Johnson again takes the shot, but that hits Schultz on the way through and deflects out of play with 41 seconds left to go on the power play for the Prowlers. 2:08 left in this second period. The other unit on now for Port Huron, it's Foley, Freeborn, Merritt, Devaney, and Johnson. Here's Joe Devaney. Over to Johnson. Now down the boards towards Freeborn. Below the goal line, Foley. Up to Devaney. Johnson again. Wrists it on, steered out of play by McVeigh. 22 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. Minute 49 left in period 2. They'll switch back to the Graham unit. Prowlers now leading in the shots on goal department, 26-24. And the Prowlers have taken 9 of the game's last 10 shots. Of course, that includes 4 on this power play so far. As Federley took a stick up high there from Lewis, who was just trying to lift Austin Federley's stick. And he heads back to the bench, no gloves, no stick. And just by the way he reacted, I think there's a good chance it's going to be 4, and that is the indication from the referee.
Yeah, it looked like he grabbed for his teeth.
And of course, just incidental from Mac Lewis trying to lift Austin Federley's stick, just got him in the mouth. So 4-minute double minor up there for Mac Lewis. Prowlers will have a 5-on-3 for 17 seconds before Cutting comes out of the penalty box. So Federley steps off the ice. Alex Johnson replaces him on this Matt Graham-led power play unit. It's Dalton Jay taking a face-off. And it's won back by the Black Bears. Schultz sends it all the way down. So that should take care of the rest of Cutting's penalty, but then the Prowlers will still over 3 minutes of power play time. As Cutting steps out, it's 5-on-4 now. Johnson gives it back to Jay. Tried to send it all the way across. Schumacher just able to keep it in at the line. Jay, wrist shot stopped, rebound, they score! Matt Graham coming down the back door, finds that loose puck. Power play goal for the Prowlers. They take a 3-2 lead. And that all came from Frank Schumacher's ability to just keep that puck in at the line because a couple of Black Bears were already going the other way.
Great job keeping it in. He didn't have Johnny there on the blue line to pass it over to because he was covering back in the neutral zone in case that puck came out. You got Grammer there in the right spot at the right time. That's where the goals are, right in front of the goal. Usually not going to be the snipe or the dangle that you envision in your head. It's usually going to be a rebound or a tip, or in that case, a little flip up and over McVeigh's stick right outside the goal mouth.
So Matt Graham with his 13th goal of the season. Prowlers still on a power play, but they cut it down to 2 minutes after the goal. Now a minute 45 left to go on it. We've hit the final minute of play in this second period, but a big power play goal for the Prowlers. And another thing to talk about, I'll tell you a little bit more about some FPHL history relating to Matt Graham when this period expires. 40 seconds left in it. So it's Graham from Jay and Schumacher. Foley walks up the wall, feeds it down low to Freeborn, tried to give and go back to Foley. That hit a skate. Frank Schumacher now has an assist in 3 straight games. Well, has an assist in 3 of his last 4, I should say. Freeborn to Johnson, the one-timer, and stopped by McVeigh. He'll hang on with 14.1 seconds to go in the second period. 59 seconds left on the Prowlers power play, which if they don't score will begin the third period. So Matt Graham did come into tonight's game 8 points away from tying Mo Levesque for 4th in FPHL history and 6 assists from tying Levesque for 2nd in league history. Of course, that's a moving bar. Thackeray over to Schumacher, the one-timer. That hit a body in front. Schumacher again couldn't get that one through. 5 seconds left to go in the second period. Graham just tried to whack it on net, couldn't do so. And that will do it for 40 minutes of play here at McMorran Place. The Prowlers with a 3-2 lead on the Binghamton Black Bears thanks to a power play goal from Matt Graham, and Jake Schultz and Torrey McLean having some words as the Prowlers get set to exit the ice. A solid period there for the Port Huron Prowlers. Outshot the Binghamton Black Bears 16-11 in that middle frame and now have the lead on shots 29-24. They actually outshot the Black Bears 17-10 in that period and have these shots advantage 29-24 through 40 minutes of play. But a good period there for the Prowlers, and they exit with the lead.
What you want to have happen, it sounds simple to say, but you want to capitalize on your scoring chances. You want to capitalize on your power plays, especially at the end of a period. You want to get one in that first 2 minutes of the double minor on Federley getting slashed in the face. You got 44 seconds coming back in the third period to capitalize and start that period off the right way.
So the Prowlers take advantage of the power play. And we have 3 power play goals in this game, 2 for Binghamton, 1 for Port Huron. It's a 3-2 Prowlers game as we head to the second intermission. Secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game tomorrow as they take on the Binghamton Black Bears, with puck drop at McMorran Place scheduled for 6:05 p.m. It'll be CL Spirit Night as the Prowlers will be wearing specialty jerseys. And it's also a Casey's Kids Zone night, and fans can skate with the team after the game on the ice. There will also be a post-game jersey auction for those game-worn CL Spirit specialty jerseys. So lots of fun. Come out tomorrow night to see the Port Huron Prowlers. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by calling the box office at 810-985-6166. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets or by phone at 810-985-6166. Prowlers with the lead as we head to the second intermission. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Second intermission underway here at McMorran Place with the Prowlers holding a 3-2 lead over the Binghamton Black Bears. Will Wiggleman, Joe Noonan here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Before we get into that period, let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard. Well, the Watertown Wolves have scored twice in the second period. They hold a 2-1 lead on the Danbury Hat Tricks, that one going on in Watertown. That one of interest to the Binghamton Black Bears fans in the chat, as the Danbury Hat Tricks sit 5 points ahead of Binghamton in the Empire Division standings. Well, of interest to the Port Huron Prowlers down in Mississippi, the Motor City Rockers have a 2-1 lead on the Mississippi Seawolves as they get set to start period number 2. Rockers 3 points back of the Prowlers in the Continental Division standings. Elsewhere in Winston-Salem, the Columbus River Dragons have a 2-1 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds, that one in the second period. And also in the middle frame, the Delaware Thunder with a 2-1 lead over the Elmira Mammoth. It's tonight the night that the Delaware Thunder finally get win number 2 on the season. That one about halfway through period number 2. Well, a good period, I would say, for the Port Huron Prowlers. Maybe one of their best in the calendar year of 2023, and which wasn't exactly the highest of bars, but it still may ring true, and they come out of it with a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, and in the first half of the season, you look traditionally, perhaps the second period is not the strongest for Port Huron. In addition to giving up some late period goals, neither of those things have been the case tonight. I think it's a good way to start off the home stretch here for the end of the season as we build up towards the playoffs coming off of the break.
Well, looking back through that second period, Prowlers got the scoring started in the middle frame when Evan Foley with a nice give and go with Liam Freeborn in the neutral zone. Then Foley went in and beat Riley McVeigh to the blocker's side. That gave the Prowlers a 2-1 lead at that point. That lead didn't last too long as a power play goal from Mac Lewis as a man advantage expired. Binghamton's second power play goal of the night tied things up at 2. Then late in the period, Prowlers on a power play, and Dalton Jay's shot was stopped by McVeigh, but the rebound bounced right to Matt Graham, and he was able to put it home and give his team a 3-2 lead that, again, they didn't relinquish late in the period. As you said, they didn't relinquish the lead in the final minute, and that's something that has haunted the Prowlers more than a couple of times this season, but it didn't happen that period, and I think that really helps them coming out into this third period because they have the lead and they know they didn't just give up the goal, they just scored the last goal.
Exactly. You want to have the momentum going out of the period, not because it helps you in that period, but because it sets you up in a good mindset for the coming period. Now Port Huron can come back out for the third. You still got 44 seconds left on the power play, and you're feeling good about yourself, feeling good about your unit, feeling like you can get another one here, double the lead.
It was a double minor for high sticking for Mac Lewis. That one was assessed to him with under 2 minutes to go in the period. And of course, the Prowlers did score on one of those penalties, and they still have 44 seconds, as Noonan mentioned, to go in the second of those those 2 minor penalties, as they hit the ice again with a 3-2 lead. Shots on goal officially right now, 29 for the Prowlers, 24 for the Binghamton Black Bears. Wyatt Hofflin sliding into the crease to our right. He has made 22 saves so far on the evening, while Riley McVeigh in the crease to our left. He has 26 stops on the night so far. Prowlers send out the Graham power play unit to start this third period. That's Matt Graham, Torrey McLean, and Dalton Jay up front. Frank Schumacher and Austin Federley are the defenders. For Binghamton, they send out Brett Parker, Josh Newberg, Jake Schultz, and Colin Fitzgerald to kill the final 44 seconds of this Prowlers power play, and we're underway. And Dalton Jay has taken 2 faceoffs tonight, and I think, just going by memory, those might be the first 2 faceoffs I've seen Dalton Jay take this season. Federley gains zone entry. Walks back, feeds it down to Graham. Up top, Federley. D to Schumacher. Back to Federley. Wrists it on, saved by McVeigh. And Newberg able to clear the rebound, only as far as Schumacher. He put it back on. Pops out towards Federley. Final seconds ticking off of Mac Lewis's penalty. Prowlers go 1 for 2 on the Mac Lewis double. Minor goes backdoor, they score! Mac Graham with the vision to find Dalton Jay sneaking down, and the Prowlers take a 4-2 lead.
I think Binghamton may have just gotten a little too comfortable there. They saw their teammate come out of the box. They knew they were evened up. They thought they had it killed off, which they did by just a couple seconds. But they've all got caught puck watching there, and Dalton slipped in the back door.
Some great vision from Matt Graham, who gets his 3rd point of the evening, his 2nd assist, as he's having a big night for the Prowlers. That one comes just 49 seconds into period 3. And Dalton Jay, a guy who had a really tough month of January after being named the player of the month for December, finds himself back on the score sheet. Team high 24th goal of the season. Prowlers looking for more. Here's Devaney. Out to Thackeray. His shot hit a stick. Comes to the near side corner. Federley also picking up assist. Devaney thought about the Michigan again. He gets knocked down by Cutting. Foley in front, they score! It's Liam Freeborn opening up a 5-2 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers. Boy, this line has been pretty good for the Prowlers tonight, this Devaney, Foley, Freeborn line.
Yeah, they have. I would imagine as a forward, Liam Freeborn's a pretty easy guy to insert onto a line because he's so selfless. Usually right there to try to set some people up. So I'm not surprised that they've had some pretty good chemistry so far. It's the recipient on that one.
So it's Foley from Freeborn earlier in the game, and Evan Foley returning the favor, getting the primary assist on that one. Hofflin stops it behind the net. D'Angelo in there to disrupt. And Devaney picking up the other assist, so Joe Devaney with a couple assists in his back pocket tonight as Hofflin holds on to that shot. And Liam Freeborn and Evan Foley with goal and an assist each. So Matt Graham has found at least one line that's working. Those 2 goals coming very quickly for the Prowlers, a matter of, I want to say 39 seconds. I believe that's the correct math. 49 seconds into period 3, then a minute 28 into period 3. You can do the math yourselves at home and check my work, but I'm going with 2 goals in 39 seconds for the Prowlers. Fitzgerald gives it over to Schultz. 5-2 Prowlers. They have the last 3 goals of the game, coming late in the second and 2 early here in the third, as Graham almost picked Schultz's pocket. Would have gone in all alone. Here's Schumacher. D to Minnie. Federley couldn't tip it through. And now Schultz off the boards. Minnie kept it in momentarily. Here's Gavin Yates turning the corner and heading up ice. Yates with plenty of speed. Met by a sea of Prowlers. Now Yates out in front. Played it off the side of the post. Foley up to Freeborn. Now Devaney. Gino Minnie joining the rush as Devaney dumps it in. Minnie hard after it. Powell keeps it away from him. Foley tried to turn it on net. Newberg stops it on the way through. Lewis all the way over. His pass picked off by Foley. Nice move at center. Gives it down to Devaney. Going for the wraparound. And McVeigh able to get the pad there. Now Johnson winds up a wrist shot. Stopped by McVeigh. Comes to the point, Thackeray. Dylan Thackeray draws a man down, has a guy back door. Couldn't get it all the way to Devaney. As Riley McVeigh able to get the paddle on that one. Johnson dumps it in with the Prowlers, making a change. He's knocked down by Cutting. And another penalty from Taylor Cutting on Alex Johnson. This time it's tripping, and the Prowlers go back to the power play. All Prowlers to start this third period, Nunes.
It's just like we were hoping it would start out. Get it on the power play, get the momentum in your favor, as well as the score. Build off of that, which they did with the 5th goal, and now they're back on the power play again.
Well, they send that Graham unit back out there that scored the goal late in the second period. It was Matt Graham who did it. This time Federley taking the faceoff. He wins it back to Graham. Schumacher walks in, feeds it across. That one didn't get cleanly over to Dalton Jay. Prowlers maintain possession. Graham down to Federley. Jay up high. Schumacher wrist shot stopped by McVeigh. The rebound sat there. Schumacher breaks up the clearing attempt. Back to Federley. Just kept it at the point. Deflected by Graham. Saved by McVeigh. Comes back out in front. McLean put it back on net. The net was off its moorings. Prowlers absolutely buzzing in this first 4.5 minutes or so of the third period. Almost getting another one there, but you look at the puck retrieval. The Black Bears had a couple of opportunities to clear after breaking up passes, breaking up shots. The Prowlers taking it off their sticks, and the puck retrieval on this power play, at least for the first 28 seconds of it, has been fantastic.
I think the energy's been great, and the Prowlers are moving their feet right now more than the Black Bears are. That's the big difference on the puck retrieval.
Hofflin leaves it for Alex Johnson as the other unit out there now for Port Huron. Johnson up to Freeborn. Freeborn looking for Merritt. They couldn't connect. Devaney has it. Puts it on. Hit a body on the way through and went wide. Freeborn down low. Below the goal line, Foley looks for Merritt. Couldn't find him. Devaney has it back, gives to Freeborn. Merritt in the bumper spot. Foley quickly to Freeborn. Devaney up high. Gives to Johnson on the far side. Alex Johnson walks up top, takes the shot. Blocked by Schultz, out of play. 46 seconds to go on the Prowlers power play. 14:53 left in period number 3. We will take a timeout here at McMorran Place. 2 quick goals for the Prowlers to start the third period. They have a 3-goal lead. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Port Huron, 14:53 to go in period number 3. 46 seconds left on the Prowlers power play as they have a 5-2 lead over the Binghamton Black Bears. It's been a great end of the second, early third for the Prowlers as they have just overrun the Black Bears over these last 5 or so minutes to start this third period.
It's a big media timeout there for Binghamton. They get a chance to reset, gather their focus, take a little bit of a break, and try to claw their way back into this.
Freeborn steps up, still with the puck, feeds it over to Joe Devaney. Devaney walks down, gives to Foley. Freeborn again, Back to Foley up high. Foley over to Devaney. Walking down, he shoots. Looks like it hit Johnson in front of the net. Schultz goes off the boards, got through Devaney, and goes out of the zone. 15 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. Devaney curls back. Shots on goal in this period, 8-0 in favor of the Prowlers so far. Freeborn stood up by Coachman there. Back to 5-on-5 as Thompson gives it to Schultz. Jake Schultz trying to start something for his team, but he shot it right off of captain of the Prowlers, Dustin Henning. Loose puck sent to Foley. Prowlers have a 3-on-1. There's a fight going on behind the play now as Dustin Henning and Jake Schultz, the two captains, are going at it. Henning's already lost his helmet. Schultz, the much bigger character here, but Henning with some good shots. And now Henning goes down, but he got some good punches in against Jake Schultz, who has about 4 inches on him. And the fans loving it from Dustin Henning. I didn't even see that fight start. I was watching the play go the other way as the Prowlers had a rush going.
Well, I think what you got there is two captains that know the rules of the game outside of the rule book, and Schultz is trying to get his team going. He stared him down from across the ice after the fight was over to let him know what that was all about, but otherwise he's not going to be down in front of the net banging away at Henning after the play's gone up the other end of the ice. He would be back on his own blue line, and good job by Henning. He lost his balance there at the end, but I'd say he got the better shots in on a bigger guy by far.
The Prowlers end up with an offensive zone face-off, as that's where the puck was when the whistle was blown. Torrey McLean wraps it deep. Federley puts it down towards Gagnon, got through him. Here's Chad Lopez. Lopez up ice, 3-a-side rush as the Black Bears enter the zone. Here's Lopez trying to get around Schumacher. And Lopez finally knocked down by Frank Schumacher. The sharp angle try from Thompson flies out of play. 13-16 to go in this third period. Both Black Bears goals so far tonight have come on the man advantage. The Prowlers' 5-on-5 play has been very, very good tonight.
I think the week off has done a lot for the guys in terms of their energy level tonight. They've been buzzing around the ice. You can tell, got a little more jump than Binghamton has.
D'Angelo was the one who shot it wide. Here's Brett Parker, leaving it for D'Angelo in the corner. Back to Parker. D'Angelo again. Down low, Parker. Cycling it for Gavin Yates. Took a hit from Thackeray. Knocked him off the puck. And it's chopped out to center. Jay muscles off D'Angelo. Here's Dalton Jay, just couldn't reach for that puck as he was trying to take the shot, and they gave it away to Parker. Jay back defending Parker, who sent it in front. Walters had his stick lifted by Alex Johnson. Parker again trying to feed it out in front. Paddle down from Hoffland, disrupts that pass. Black Bears looking for some pressure here, but Jay able to pull it out. Here's Lewis. Up to Yates. Looking for Lewis again. Minnie had it caught up in his feet. Gives it to Chartrain, who goes off the glass and out. Devaney trying to knock it away from Coachman. Powell right there to back him up. And now Kyle Powell will just stand there and wait for his team to complete a change and start the breakout. Prowlers content to leave him there with 11:52 to go in the third period of a 3-goal game. A headman feed for Kirkby off his stick. Hoffland plays it away from him. Comes right back to Kirkby. He just turned it over to Freeborn. Black Bears back on the puck. Freeborn able to force it out to center. Hoffland leaves it for Schumacher. Black Bears off sides. Now they touch up. Meanwhile, the Prowlers going the other way. Here's Devaney into the zone. Dangles around one man. Joe Devaney with a good shot. And a save by McVeigh. Minnie down to take that one, but looks like something being called here as Ivashkin took it away from Minnie. I'm not exactly sure what is going on here or why the whistle came, because Gino Mini gloved that puck down and then Ivashkin took it from him at center.
I have no idea, unless they're calling offsides.
I don't think that would be offside because Ivashkin got it at center, and they're having a discussion over at the Black Bears bench. I really can't see what. Oh, it may have. There was another Black Bears cruising through center. That was Kirkby, and he reached up with his stick and he may have touched it. That's my only guess at this point, is that it hit Tyson Kirkby's stick, which was way above his shoulders, on its way to Ivashkin. But Gino Mini was the next one to touch the puck, so I have no idea. Either way, play continuing. As here's JT Walters leaving it for Lopez. Lopez walking into the backhand, tried a nice move, didn't end up with a shot on goal. Fitzgerald recovers the puck, wrists it on, saved by Hoffland. Federley rims it around. I believe that was the Black Bears' first shot of the period. I think you're right, Nunes. We're over 9 minutes into it. A wraparound, stopped by Hoffland, and sent out. 2-on-1 for the Prowlers if they hurry. Gagnon has McLean going to. Gagnon shoots, saved by McVeigh, the rebound. Couldn't be handled by McLean, and then Hansel winds and fires from below the face-off dot, and McVeigh makes the save there. I think Adam Hansel only knows how to take slap shots.
I can tell you for a fact that he prefers that for sure. If you've got the room to tee it up and let it fly, why not?
Lopez gloves it down at center. Thackeray gives it over to Hansel. And now Chartrand leaves it off for Merritt. He shoots, eaten up by a stick, goes out of play. Over top of the netting. 9:50 to go, third period, and the Prowlers maintaining their 3-goal lead. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here at McMorran Place, 9:50 to go, third period. And the Prowlers have a 5-2 lead on the Binghamton Black Bears. Will Wiggle and Joe Noonan here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. It's been an overwhelming third period for the Port Huron Prowlers, as they've had the much better play versus the Binghamton Black Bears. So, however, Binghamton has gotten some life after that fight between Jake Schultz and Dustin Henning.
They did, and they got some life out of Ivashkin finally. I was actually looking to see if he had been on the ice yet this period, because he's such a dominant player with the puck on his stick. I hadn't noticed him yet, but no mistaking that he was out there for the last shift.
If you remember the last time the Prowlers and the Black Bears faced off here at McMorran Place, D'Angelo put it out in front, missed both Black Bears going there. Now the Prowlers have a 4-on-2. Dropped off to Jay, takes the shot, it's blocked though. Now Jay puts it back on, goes off the glass and all the way back down to Prowler ice. As I was saying, if you remember the last time the Prowlers and the Black Bears faced off here at McMorran Place, they ended up splitting that series, each team with a 5-3 victory in that series. But Nikita Ivashkin was invisible on the score sheet, as he did not record a single point in those two games.
That's surprising, and it's detrimental for the Black Bears. Tonight especially, you need a guy like him to step up in the absence of some of their guys like Yarwood. And,
Tyler Jurich as well.
Is out as well.
Yeah, Tyler Jurich, the big name out this weekend, but of course, Prowlers are happy that Jurich won't be able to tie and take the lead in FPHL history for goals scored against them. So at least that's a bright spot for the Prowlers, but that's certainly inevitable that Tyler Jurich is going to hit that mark at some point this season. He was injured in the Black Bears' last game against Delaware. They went into a scrum and just kind of came out a little bit awkwardly. Just didn't look all that comfortable and decided not to make the trip, as both teams saluting their captain stepping out of the penalty boxes after that fight. He's certainly a big loss for the Binghamton Black Bears. I was talking with the Black Bears play-by-play guy, Brooks Hill, before the game today, and I said it's really unfortunate that the Prowlers and the Black Bears in 2 of the 3 series between these two teams, as Schultz risked that one wide, 2 of the 3 series between these two teams this year, one team has not been at full strength. As last time in Binghamton, it was the Prowlers who were playing very short-handed. They signed Christian Whitcomb just for those 2 games so they could have enough defensemen to have a lineup. And then tonight, you're missing guys like Cam Yarwood and Tyler Jurich for Binghamton. Really the only series that these 2 teams are both at full strength was the one back in November, right after Thanksgiving here at McMorran Place, and they split that series with 5-3 victories each. I think that shows really where these 2 teams are. A penalty coming up against the Prowlers, and Joe Devaney unhappy with himself as he heads over to the penalty box. But I think that really shows where both of these 2 teams, actually it's Dustin Henning who will be in the penalty box. Devaney was just generally frustrated, I guess. But I really think it shows that these 2 teams are on par with each other at very similar level, with those 2 games that they were at full strength being split, and then, unfortunately, we don't really get to see the extent of not either of these teams, of either of them here in these last 2 series.
I would agree. 2 similarly built teams from top to bottom. You have your veteran stars, if you will, guys like Dalton Jay, Matt Graham on the Prowler side, and Jurich and Yarwood on the Binghamton side, and then you fill it in with some really good players, some of them younger, some of them more experienced as well, but 2 deep teams that have good systems overall, know how to play a good game. And when both teams are at full strength, they're some of the top teams in the league for sure.
Thank you for finally ending my increasingly incoherent rambling, as I was making the same point over and over and over and not finding a stop to it. But meanwhile, the Prowlers able to rim it all the way down. There's Frank Schumacher, 20 seconds into the penalty to Dustin Henning, 2 minutes for tripping. 7.5 minutes now to go in period 3. Ivashkin into the zone. Tried to send it back to Yates at the point. Graham disrupted. Here's Gavin Yates with it. Feeds it over to Kirkby, down low. And pushed just wide by the Black Bears, and the pass out to Yates finds its way out to center.
It's really apparent how this unit pretty much just runs through Yates right to Ivashkin. The other unit is much more of a 5-man operation.
Here's Kirkby pulling up and starting up ice. He dumps it in, goes after it himself, able to chop it past Schumacher. Thompson rims it around, looking for guess who? Gavin Yates. He leaves it for Lopez, takes the shot, knocked down, and Hofflin able to find it in the blue paint and cover up for a whistle. 43 seconds left to go on the Black Bears power play, 6:39 left in period number 3. And the Prowlers still with that 3-goal advantage. Evan Foley out there to take the draw with Josh Newberg. Comes back to the point to Fitzgerald. Gives it to Parker. Along the wall, up high to Fitzgerald. Parker again. Parker gets it back on the half wall from Lewis. Parker down to Lewis. The 1-touch to the middle. Newberg got it. They're jamming away there at the post. And Hofflin able to make the saves And I think that net came off its moorings again. Wyatt Hoffman with a good stop on the in-tight opportunity, although that pass didn't get cleanly to Josh Newberg.
No, the Prowlers are collapsing there pretty well. You can see Newberg is set up in that bumper position. You see it in the NHL with guys like Patrice Bergeron or TJ Oshie or Chris Kunitz when he was on the Penguins. You basically flip back and forth between screening the goalie and then opening up for a little one-timer snapshot.
Here's Parker. Gives it down low. Lewis tried to pull it to his forehand, couldn't do it, as Hoffman was there with the poke check. Final seconds ticking off the penalty to Dustin Henning. Parker up high to Fitzgerald. A one-timer from Schultz caught the back glass, and Parker taken out by Chartrand. Henning right out of the box trying to start a rush the other way. Instead, Lewis turns it back to Prowler ice. Down low, Parker feeds it in front. Comes out to Yates. Saved by Hoffman. The rebound dribbled there, and Minnie able to rescue it. Schultz played it off of Foley. Foley just couldn't reach out and get that pass from Chartrand. Schultz again in his own end as the Prowlers completing a change. 5:20 to go, third period. D'Angelo steps around Thackeray. Rims it around towards Powell. Put it on, and they score. Oh, they're going to say no goal. As the shot came from Powell, it hit Hoffman on the blocker. And then D'Angelo, it went off of D'Angelo and in.
Looks like they're giving it to him.
I guess they are giving it to him. I'm not sure why they wouldn't have at first.
Neither am I. I was about to say they got that one wrong. Looked to me like it hit Hoffman the blocker and clanked around off a couple of guys' rear ends in front of the net and across the goal line.
The only thing I could think of is maybe the referee just didn't see it go in.
He may have thought that he batted it in with his hand as well.
But either way, a good goal for Gino D'Angelo. An unfortunate bounce for the Prowlers as it just hit D'Angelo as he went through. As D'Angelo snaps a 6-game point drought, which began after the Prowlers left Binghamton. His last point was on January 7th against the Port Huron Prowlers. Goal number 6 on the season for Gino D'Angelo. Brings the Black Bears within 2. 5 minutes now to go in period 3. Binghamton has gotten the better of the play as of late. Black Bears have taken the last 7 shots as Yates stole it away from Jay. Bodies flying everywhere. Here's Dylan Thackeray into the zone. Thackeray with an outside shot, gloved and held by McVeigh for a whistle. 4:46 to go in this third period, as the Prowlers are now only up by 2. We head to our final timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal.
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
Every save.
Going the other way, Papandrea. Saved by Hoffman, the rebound. Another one.
Every hit.
Good hip check.
Every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskell, cut back, heading with another good shot, and then a left. Oh, boy.
game.
Cardinal poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it.
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
We do invite you to tune in to our next broadcast tomorrow, February 11th, when the Prowlers host the Binghamton Black Bears again. Puck drop scheduled for 6:05 p.m. And the pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Prowlers just trying to close out this game, a 5-3 lead with 4:46 to go. Offensive zone draw coming. Ivashkin, the one split out wide on the near side. And as the Black Bears win it, he'll head out, and Schultz tries to hit him. Instead, he only finds Frank Schumacher. Gets as far as Lopez. Gagnon coming back to disrupt the play. Now Schultz walks down. Got his shot blocked. Schultz again from the outside. Puck still loose there at the side of the cage. Comes back behind the net. Gagnon chasing after it. He's able to bat it out of the air all the way down to Black Bear ice. Here comes Jay in on it. Jay tried to muscle off Lopez. Said Chad Lopez ended up taking the puck. Henning off the glass. Kept in by Thompson. Well, at least I thought he did, as he gloved that one down, but the linesman disagrees. So with 4:06 to go in the third period, we'll have a face-off just outside the Prowlers zone. Austin Federley, the regular centerman on this line with Matt Graham and Torrey McLean now. We started the evening with Graham taking all of the face-offs. He's a typical centerman. Now Dustin Henning had his stick broken. Graham gives it to him, so Henning is working with Matt Graham's stick. Graham without a stick trying to defend. And he gets one from Danik Rodrigue, the backup goaltender tonight, off the bench. Some good teamwork there from the Prowlers.
Always got to do something to contribute. I've been on that bench more than I've been on the ice throughout my career probably. Got to stay involved in the game, help the guys out.
JT Walters backhands it deep. The shaft of Henning's stick laying there in the corner. I don't see the blade anywhere. I think it was picked up. Walters feeds it over to Schultz. The one-timer deflected and stopped by Hofflin. He gathers in the rebound for a whistle. 3:10 to go in this third period. The Black Bears are pushing. They are pressuring. They've looked a lot better over these last few minutes. And they have taken 8 of the last 9 shots in this game. They're now leading the period end shots 12-11. If you remember, at one point in this period, it was 8-0 Prowlers. It's actually 13-11 Black Bears in shots this period. It's 8-0 Prowlers at one point near the beginning. But Binghamton has come on strong. But see if the Prowlers built a hill too high for them to climb, as Freeborn able to poke it out of the zone, start a rush. Freeborn, nice move between his own legs, but Fitzgerald took the body. Devaney over to Freeborn behind the net. Up high is Johnson. Over to Thackeray. Back to Johnson. Down low, Foley chopped it out in front. Couldn't find a teammate. Devaney takes it away and keeps it deep. Foley curling away from Fitzgerald. 2:40 to go in the third period. Foley has it again. Knocked down. Got it in front to Devaney. McVeigh wasn't sure where the puck was, but Joe Devaney's shot hit a Black Bear stick. Johnson has to retreat back to center. Minnie feeds it to Foley, and he'll dump it in as the Prowlers get a change going. A little pushing and shoving going on at center between Newberg and Foley. Now Gino Minnie stepping in between. Everybody separates, and we'll get back to hockey. Ivashkin was carrying the puck up the ice, and the whistle blew. We'll see who they're taking. The Black Bears' door is the only one that's open on the penalty box side. Newberg still having chats with the Prowlers bench. Looks like the Prowlers are sending out the power play unit, so that leads me to believe that it's a Prowlers power play, but I'm not sure where the extra penalty could have come from unless somebody said something, because the arm came up after everyone had separated.
I think you're right. We're seeing them have a very civil discussion just at the partition between the benches there. I don't see anybody going to the box, but it looks like the ref is looking for somebody. I didn't see a penalty that would only go to one team or the other. I think if one guy's going to the box, there's got to be somebody going from the Prowlers side as well. He's pointing at somebody.
They're going to send Taylor, or they're going to send Cutting over there. Taylor Cutting is heading to the penalty box. I could not tell you what the penalty is. I'll only be able to let you know when it comes down on my screen.
The only thing I could think of that would be one-sided against Binghamton here would be too many men on the ice. There was a bit of a commotion in front of the bench with guys trying to change and then ending up jawing at each other. Looks like somebody's serving a penalty for somebody else, so there might be a misconduct in there.
So Kirkby is going to join Cutting in the penalty box. Actually, Kirkby will replace Cutting in the penalty box, so maybe it was Kirkby who had some extra words for the officials, and that's what's going on. Again, we'll let you know when it comes down here on our monitor or when they announce it over the loudspeaker. I think they're explaining it right now to the crew in the scorer's booth because even they weren't sure exactly what it was. 2:06 to go, third period. Either way, it will be a Prowlers power play. And finally, we get set for it as Austin Federley, the one to take the face off, his unit out there. Work back to Graham, quickly to Schumacher. Down to Jay. Schumacher has it again. Reverse to Federley. Very aggressive Black Bears, and Powell able to get it out of the zone. It's a 3-on-2 for Binghamton in the zone, but the pass over to Lopez. Good block from Schumacher. Walters put it down low. Prowlers able to turn it back the other way. And now it looks like Frank Schumacher is heading to the penalty box. He got an extra shove there on JT Walters. Ivashkin and Federley now getting into it. Walters just ripped off Federley's helmet and tossed it. Torrey McLean in there to defend his new teammate.
Walters doesn't want McLean, he wants Federley.
I don't want Torrey McLean. I wouldn't want Torrey McLean if I was anybody. They're sending Schumacher to the box. Federley also heading over there. JT Walters as well.
I think they missed a leg check or a slew foot there on Walters when he initially went into Federley before Frank tripped him from behind, and Walters is picking the wrong guy just from an honor standpoint. Wrong guy to go after, the smallest guy on either team.
I think he just looked up and saw Fetz and thought that Federley was the guy who knocked him down because he was the one that Walters hit. We can at least give you what Tyson Kirkby got. He got 2 minutes for abuse of officials, so that's the official one for Kirkby that came just a minute ago. Now Walters, to the delight of the McMorran Place crowd, is being escorted to the locker room as they continue to try and figure this one out. Still, there's now 2 minutes up on the board on the Prowlers side. Minute 35 left on Kirkby's abuse of officials penalty. It looks like they are going to send Austin Federley for an early shower as well. More cheers from the crowd, but those are more in favor of Austin Federley than the cheers for JT Walters.
I'm not exactly
getting
sure what Fetz did there, other than get his helmet thrown. I mean, he was in there jawing, but it didn't look like too much out of the ordinary.
I'm sure they'll give the typical hockey 2 minutes for roughing because you were involved, and we don't want to give someone a power play. It's going to be 4-on-4 with Schumacher the only one whose penalty affects on-ice manpower. Again, we'll let you know when the penalties do come down on our screen here. Face off one, Ivashkin with a quick shot. That one flutters wide. Schultz gives it down to Ivashkin off his stick. Johnson keeping the puck away from Ivashkin. Here comes Alex Johnson up ice. His pass goes off of Fitzgerald. Lopez turns it back up. Lopez steps around Thackeray. Lopez knocked down behind the net. McVeigh to the bench. Comes out to Schultz. He shoots off a Prowlers stick and out of play. Over by the Prowlers team store. But Riley McVeigh is on the Black Bears bench, so it's a 5-on-4 Binghamton advantage with the net empty.
I think that puck hit one of the Prowler Spirit cheerleaders, and now she looks to be using a small child as a shield.
Hey, that small
I think that's an offspring of one of the players there.
That small child is Frank Schumacher's kid. He's a tough kid.
Yeah, he is.
As Merritt able to chip it out, Fitzgerald lost his footing, and Sam Merritt hits the empty net. Officially will go down as a 4-on-4 goal. That makes it 6-3 Prowlers. That didn't take long for Port Huron to hit the empty net as Sam Merritt gets his 15th of the season. You know, Merritt said to me earlier today when he came in, he was looking at one of the stat sheets that we pass out here at McMorran Place with all the stats for both teams. He looked at it, he said, I've been sitting on 14 for a while. It's time to get another one. Well, it's an empty net goal, but sometimes that can get you going even if it's just an empty netter.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's a guy that's always perhaps hyper aware of his own performance, expects a lot out of himself, a lot he feels he has to contribute to his teammates and that he owes them, especially offensively.
Here he comes again. Merritt has Freeborn, gives it to him, but the pass was behind him. And Henning gets it deep. 20 seconds to go in this third period, so the Prowlers with a great effort tonight. As Yates drops it off, Lopez couldn't give it back to Yates. And you talk about a line that didn't contribute for the Black Bears, it's this one with Ivashkin, Lopez, and Yates. The top line for Binghamton didn't do all that much tonight, but the Port Huron Prowlers get the victory 6-3 tonight over the Binghamton Black Bears. They move to 20-14-3, 61 points, while the Black Bears drop to 24-7-2 and have their FPHL high 5-game winning streak come to an end. A great game for the Prowlers out of the break when they had a week off, first game in 13 days, and they came out with a lot of fire and played a complete 60-minute effort.
That's exactly what you want coming out of the break, like you said. Good effort, good energy, a lot of speed. Everybody's moving their feet, playing together as 5-man units. Throughout the game, 5-on-5, they mostly carried the play. They took advantage on the power play when the opportunities were there.
Let's take you back through tonight's action as the Prowlers win it 6-3. Final shots 41-37 in favor of the Port Huron Prowlers. First, let's hear the 3 stars of the game.
Dalton Jay. And the first third tonight's game with 1 goal and 2 assists. Number 51, Matt Graham.
So Liam Freeborn, the 3rd star of tonight's game. Dalton Jay, the 2nd star, and Matt Graham, the 1st star for tonight's game. A well-deserved 3 points for the Port Huron Prowlers.
It's the original line.
That's true. That is the original line. That's been the line for most of the time since Freeborn has been here. And they switched things up tonight, and it seemed to have worked with all 3 lines contributing. We'll take you back through this one. Start off with Austin Federley getting the scoring going in the first period. Austin Thompson, though, tied things up a few minutes later. Went into the first intermission, knotted up at 1. Prowlers took the lead again. Evan Foley early in that second period made it 2-1, but another quick response from Binghamton a few minutes later. Mac Lewis, a power play goal. Second power play goal for Binghamton of the game, tied things up. With the big turning point, Matt Graham getting a power play goal. Final minute 15 of that second period, and that really propelled the energy in Port Huron's direction.
Yeah, it did, and you come out from the second period, start off the third with a good power play, scoring right at the end of it, or right after the end of it, I should say, but You want to set yourself up at those key spots throughout the game, those stress points throughout 60 minutes of play, right after a goal is scored or on a power play or right at the end and the start of each period. And it seemed like Port Huron had those times of the game really under control and dominated for that portion of the game. Ended up being the difference.
Prowlers did take that momentum into the third period as they scored 2 quick goals in the first minute and 28 seconds. Dalton Jay and Liam Freeborn getting the tallies. That opened up a 5-2 lead. Gino D'Angelo got one back for Binghamton. It wouldn't be enough as Sam Merritt hits the empty net. So the Prowlers come away with a 6-3 victory and at least clinch themselves, staying in third place in the Continental Division tonight. Let's take a quick look around the FPHL one last time before we sign off. And we'll start with the game in Mississippi that the Prowlers were watching. The Motor City Rockers have a 4-3 lead on the Seawolves as they are through 2 periods of play. That one important for the Prowlers because the Rockers now sit 6 points behind Port Huron, with the Prowlers picking up 3 points tonight. Also important to the Prowlers, the Columbus River Dragons and Carolina Thunderbirds are tied at 2. That one late in the third period in Winston-Salem. Of importance to the Binghamton Black Bears, the Watertown Wolves have a 2-1 lead on the Danbury Hat-Tricks. That one midway through the third period. So if Watertown can pull that one out, the Black Bears will remain 5 points behind Danbury for the top spot in the Empire Division. Finally, the Delaware Thunder in the third period have a 3-1 lead on the Elmira Mammoth. So don't look now, Thunder fans. You may have your second win of the season here in the month of February. Well, that's going to do it for us here at McMorran Place. For Joe Noonan, I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We will see you tomorrow night when the Prowlers and the Black Bears renew their rivalry. Have a great rest of your night, Prowlers fans.